right now. All right. So today, guys, we're gonna break down overall analysis on Euro JPY. Okay, Euro
Down.
JPY, and the reason for this call is just to show how I look at the charts and pretty much my thought process and just an overall markdown with market flow and just flowing with the market. Okay? It's gonna be a short call, probably a 30-minute call, 35 minute. And pretty much what I want to get out of this is just to show you guys how to back test. I mean, back testing is really how you get your reps. It's like anything we do in life. Anything we want to be good at, we have to put in the reps. So the more you back test, it's just pretty much you're looking for opportunities where you could have entered the market, opportunities where you could have capitalized in the market with the same confirmations, right? Your confirmation never changes. You want to go in the market with the same principles, but you just want to flow with the market. So we're gonna start with EURJPY. Is a very it's a very feisty pair, man. This pair it just moves all over the place. So if you don't enter at the right time with this market, you can be in drawback and experience like you know a lot of drawback pretty much. But so when analyzing the pair, guys, you really want to start from the monthly time frame. It's very important. You really just want to get the overall analysis of the market. And if you, as you can see, this whole time where the market is creating lower highs, right? Just understanding that you see the market is creating lower highs. If we utilize a trend line, you can see it is respecting this downtrend. So right now we see that we're in a seller's market. It looks very bearish, being that we're creating lower highs. Okay. And as you can see, also, if we want to do some more investigation, we still want to keep in mind that the monthly candle right now is currently bullish, and the previous monthly candle is bullish. So the past 2 months we've been bullish. It's been a lot of buys in the market, but we still got to understand the overall concept. We're still in a seller's market. Okay, so for the monthly, I'm going to the weekly time frame. I'm kind of just looking at structure in a sense, right? What type of structure is the market creating? As we can see, we at a point we were creating more lower highs here till we got a break, right? Till we got a break of lower high somewhere around here. Okay, which transitioned the market to now a bullish, more of a bullish standpoint. Okay, we're in a bullish standpoint because now the price is creating higher lows. Okay, so it's creating higher lows, and now it should give you an idea that, okay, well, buyers are in the market, right? I mean, the overall on the monthly we're in a downtrend, but on the weekly we just came from a break of structure, leading from a downtrend to an uptrend. So when I'm looking at these things, I'm paying attention, right? I'm paying attention to the weekly candles, right? I see more bullish. I'm looking here. I see we're at some type of resistance, right? Somewhere here. Right? I see we're some type of resistance, but this higher low right here, this high low that we drew right here is showing us that there's a very strong possibility that we can break this resistance. Right? We already broke structure here. There's a strong possibility that this high low can give us enough buying pressure to break this resistance. Okay. And obviously, if we look left to get right, our next resistance is probably somewhere up here. Okay. So you want to create areas within the market where you can take price to. So now we can come up with we can actually agree like, yo, if price finally breaks this resistance, there's a possibility we can take it up here. Okay. But we still understand in the monthly, we're still creating lower highs. Okay. So weekly, I see we just came from a high low. Let's break it down to the daily time frame. right? Daily time frame, we see we're still at that resistance area. We can draw our trend line just to see how price is respecting our trend line. And we see we're still creating higher lows, right? Higher lows, higher high, higher lows, higher high. You guys see it. Um, and right now, guys, the only thing I'm looking for right now is to see how price is reacting here, right? I know I'm at a major weekly resistance. So based on what's happening here, it can kind of let us know how we need to execute this trade. So if in this area right here, if there's a lot of seller's pressure, we could potentially sell it to this trend line. We could potentially sell it to this trend line, right? And then start looking for buy opportunities if price fails to break that trend line. Okay. We could potentially sell it to the trend line if there's seller's pressure in this yellow box. But go ahead.
What's your definition of breaking below a trend line or breaking above or below
trend line? So for example, this trend line, I would consider this if a candle really just like support and resistance. If a candle really opens and closes, treat the trend lines like support and resistance. So if a candle opens and closes below the trend line and retest the trend line, then it's broken. So if a bearish candle open and close below this trend line, then it's broken.
I think that's where I've been messing up at, because I've been recognizing a break as if one candle just comes down and simply closes below.
Oh, no.
Open and close.
Yeah, and it's open and close. Yeah. So for example, watch this, and I'm gonna show you. So if I drew this trend line right here, and these trend lines could be subjective, y'all. If I drew this trend line, right? Let's ignore this. The red trend line is our actual trend line. But if I drew this trend line, this black one, and for example, this will be considered. Hold on, 1 second. This will be considered. This would be an example of like, okay, trend line broke. That candle opening and closing below.
Got you.
That would be considered, okay, trend line broke. But then again, we still have to see that, like, it really didn't break, because all these candles right here were testing this support line.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we still kept that buy momentum. So if within this support line, if we had a candle that opened and closed below, then we can actually say that trend line broke. But this trend line didn't break because we were still maintaining the same support, the same high lows. So understanding this simple thing, bro, once you see that the support line is still being maintained, right? And like it looked like the trend line broke, but it really didn't break because the support was still being maintained, creating the same equal high lows. With that understanding, you'd be looking for buy opportunities around here. Just understanding the flow of the market. Really, when I look at this stuff, man, the first thing I look for is the structure. Structure. What is the structure of the market? Right? What is the structure of the market? See, we got, watch this. See, we got high, low, right? So when is, like, the question I think most people struggle with is, okay, when is the buyers coming in? When can I take advantage of this market? When is the buyer pressure coming in? This is where you want to use your counter trend line, right? Your counter trend line. So we draw a counter trend line from here, from this high. We want to get a whole bunch of points touching, right? So
Josh, come get your phone.
watch this. This right here, this counter trend line, pretty much what it does, it lets us know when the buyer pressure is coming in. So anything outside of this counter trend line, it's a buy opportunity.
Your shoes on, make sure you fold up everything.
It's a buy opportunity.
Okay.
So we break this down in a smaller time frame to capitalize on this buy. But then again, it's like you knowing that you were still maintaining the same support level, and you know price respected this trend line, there was another buy opportunity here on a smaller time frame. So you could have got it. You could got it in right here, and roll this whole thing up.
Hmm.
So let's break down. Let's break down this area right here. So let's break this area down in a 4 hour.
What'd it say? I'm sorry, guys.
So on the 4 hour time frame, and watch this. Matter of fact, let's back test this whole thing. We'll walk this whole thing we'll walk this whole trade to this weekly resistance. Let's walk this whole trade to the weekly resistance. Where were we? Okay, right here. So let's take advantage of, let's back test what happened right here at this high low. Let's back test this high low on the smaller time frame. So let's go to the 4 hour. And we knew that red line was still being maintained. We knew we're still at a high low in the daily. So the goal is to capitalize on this buy. Okay, so in the 4 hour, my thought process is, okay, let me start marking off high points within the 4 hour time frame.
Is this system downstairs?
Let me start marking off high points within the 4 hour time frame. So even before all this happened, bro, I'm still marking off this high. So because this high is really my first TP, because this was the most significant high within the 4 hour time frame structure. So if I was right here, bro, my thought process is, okay, how can I find a buy entry to get me to this high? You follow me? How can I find a buy entry to get me to this high? So while all this is happening, I need to break this area down to a smaller time frame to find a reason to take the buy order. I know this red line right here on the daily time frame, this red support line, I know it's still being maintained. Support hasn't broken. All these are tested candles. I also know with another confirmation that price created support on my daily trend line. So it's two confirmations here to consider this buy position, right? So on the 4 hour time frame, I'm like, all right, let me break this down. Let me break this area down
and grab your mask
to where I can see a clean entry. So obviously, I want to utilize all my tools. I want to utilize counter trend lines in a smaller time frame. I want to seek out buyer's pressure. I want to see breaker resistance, all that within this little time frame. So for the 4 hour, let me see if I could draw a counter trend line here. I don't want to make it too steep, so I'm gonna just break this down to like probably a 2 hour time frame. And it's okay to go to a smaller time frame because I know where I'm at on a bigger time frame. So while I'm doing all this, I'm like, okay, let me get my counter trend line, a minor counter trend line, and gauge where this is too steep. Okay, this is probably perfect. This is probably good. Okay, gauge where price, and I don't want to get you confused with all these lines, but guys, as you're flowing with the market, you understand what you're doing. So let me just make this green or some shit. Okay, so I'm trying to gauge where the transition is going to happen from sellers to buyers. right? Obviously, I want to see a break of this trend line. And as you can see, bro, what you understand, you start seeing buyers creeping up because you start seeing high lows being created to break that trend line. And you can even use another trend line. Listen, this high lows are, look at this. It's being respected. Because right now we're at the apex of that ascending triangle. Okay. So running as prices creating all these high lows is just pretty much telling you that buyers, more buying pressure is coming in. But we're looking for the right time to actually enter this market. So typically what I wait for is I wait for a break of some sort of that trend line. Around this area is where I'll be looking to put my buy order. I mean, you can enter a little earlier here. That's cool. But to get the most confirmation, man, I wait for breaks of these trend lines, these counter trend lines. So in this area, pretty much I'll probably go to the 30-minute time frame. Go into the 30-minute time frame to look for some type of bullish engulfing or bullish variation. And obviously, the only time I'm looking to put that order in is when price finds off of a support level. Off of a support level. So as you can see on this time frame, we finally got a break. We finally got our break out of that trend line. Only thing I'm identifying is just some type of support level to place my my buy order from. Let me take this box out. So we got our support level. Only thing I'm looking for right now is really some type of bullish engulfing candle, right, within a support level. And this right is probably would be my entry confirmation. It doesn't have to be pretty, but this candle has to be at some type of support level. So once that happened, man, I'm really just not even hesitating. I'm buying this market to that 4 hour, that structured time frame's hot. And as you can see, man, this thing just, I mean, it just shot up, like 224 pips.
Wow.
Went to the moon. It's always fun back testing because when you look at it, it's like, man, damn, how come anytime I'm trying to trade, I don't be seeing this moves, man?
Right.
So, like, man, like, yeah, it's easy to back test it, but when I'm trying to trade it, it never happens, right? That's how most people feel. But it's all about waiting, though. Like, all about waiting for these moves to happen. That way you can take advantage of it. And it's all about being dynamic and waiting for breaks of trend lines, breaks of support, breaks of resistance, like all that good stuff, man. Hold on 1 second.
Oh my goodness.
Like look at this. Okay. So you remember this daily trend line that we drew?
Mm-hmm.
This daily. So this daily trend line we drew, this black one right here, this counter trend line we drew, we finally, because you're just flowing with the market, we finally got our break and retest, and this is a second entry. We're just flowing with the market. We take it to the 2 hour time frame. We know where we're at, 2 hour time frame. You want to find an opportunity to see if you can. And the only time I draw these counter trend lines is when price is creating like lower highs, and you know, especially if we're in an uptrend and price starts creating like these lower highs. This is where I look. This is where I look to draw my counter trend lines. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is too steep, huh? This is too steep. And you can kind of. There's no perfect way to do it. You just want to kind of be dynamic with it. So we just say like, this is good. Okay. This is good. So guys, we know we tested the daily trend line right here. I'm still looking for more confirmation though. You could have taken a trade right here, but you know, Watch this. I always want to get this at the apex. At the apex is pretty much of that triangle, right? The apex will be around here. It's the apex. So you see, you start noticing within that apex, going to that apex, it starts creating higher lows, right? So at that apex, guys, my confirmation, obviously, you can take trades right here because you already know where you're at in a bigger time frame. This black trend line right here, we already broke it from the daily. So you could really had an order somewhere here. But just to get the most precise entry, but think about it, if you would have placed the order right here, here's why waiting patient is the game. You'll be in consolidation for like, the market just be ranging. Like, you're like, man, when the thing gonna move up?
Right.
So that's why it's always important to wait on breaks of these trend lines. Now, once we got this break of the trend line, you want to monitor this area right here on 15 minutes time frame, right? 15-minute time frame. On the 15, you want to find some type of support level within that break of that counter trend line and take your trade. So identify your support, right? We got a break support right here, right? I see this bullish variation.
Oh shoot! Ouch.
And that's my trade, right? Drawback, you probably draw down for what? 8 pips.
That ain't bad.
And look what happened. You just monitor. All you gotta do is monitor your trade on your structured time frame, your 4-hour time frame. And guys, look at this. This shit shot to the. It finally shot to our weekly resistance that we've been monitoring this whole time, which was another 350 pips.
Wow. Hey, you finding that stuff.
Yeah, man. This stuff is nuts, man. Like, one thing I learned is like, like I said, it's all these strategies, man. Like the more you simplify your trading, the easier it looks. Like this stuff I'm showing y'all, like really, I can apply this flow of the market and this way of looking at the market in any pair, and it just makes more sense. Like, even though I have knowledge of a whole bunch of other ways and bank numbers and all this, a lot of that stuff is really irrelevant. Like, it's really irrelevant because you can really just trade this with price action. That's what we're doing. Waiting on breaks, focusing on structure, waiting on breaks of trend lines and support and resistance, and really that's how you want to start trading. So let's see where price is currently at, right? Where we know right now we are at some type of consolidation. All right, some type of consolidation, creating equal supports. It's not feeling the break. So the question is, how do we know when it's time to really buy this market? Well, let's break this down to the 2-hour time frame. Right? You want it when price starts creating lower highs, this gives you opportunity to draw your counter trend line. You guys follow me?
Okay.
And now within this counter trend line, you start seeing signs of buying pressure coming because you start seeing price creating higher lows. Guys, once this thing broke, you're probably in the 30-minute time frame looking for buy opportunities, right? Within this 30-minute time frame, you're looking for a bullish engulfing on some type of support. If the market was still open, we would have been in a trade right now. We would have been in a trade right now if the market was open. Yeah, this is just all flowing with the market. We know the price. We want to see price. I know we got highs right here. Finally broke that high. Yeah, man. Now,
those
go ahead.
secondary trend lines, you call them?
Counter trend line.
Okay.
Yeah, you always the counter trend line just it lets me know when, like for example, if you're buying this market, the counter trend lines. If you're in a buyer's market, you want to use the counter trend lines and draw it like a downtrend. But the only time you use these counter trend lines is when you start seeing price creating those lower highs. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
These counter trend lines gives you another opportunity to catch the buying pressure.
That's what I've been missing out on. Because in those moments of like consolidation right there,
Yeah.
or like when it's like bouncing up and down in one range or between zones, I'm like, where do I catch the trade at?
Exactly.
Like,
and so now with you having the awareness, Philly, watch this. You now you're like, okay, well, damn, this thing been consolidating. So anytime you see these little high lows form, oh, this is an opportunity to really just like, okay, like, yo, this thing been consolidating. I know we're in a buyer's market. Let me break this area down, right? Let me break this area down in a small time frame and see if I can have a opportunity to draw a counter trend line. That's how you got to start thinking. So you want to find it. Go to the 1 hour. You don't see in the 1 hour, man. Go to the 30. Watch this.
Ooh.
Counter trend line. Look, boom. And your entry's like right here. You would have entered right here. You would have entered right here. Because now, what you notice is while you entered right there, it's creating what? High lows.
High lows.
And it's like this would have been a smooth entry right here. If I would have saw this, I would have probably entered this too. Because you knew where you were at in the 4 hour time frame. So we broke this down to look for buying pressure. The buying pressure came when this counter trend line broke on the 30-minute time frame, bro. All you did was buy, man. You'd have been up. Come on, man. 102 pips. Drawback was probably what? 13 pips. We consolidated for a while, but eventually, when she started seeing this thing respecting that uptrend, the confirmation was there. He's like, okay, we cool. We create high lows. Now, once this thing broke out, guess what? You could have closed out here. Here's another opportunity to enter the trade again, flowing with the market. Because this whole thing is still respecting the trend line. Still respecting the trend line. Look at this. Still respecting the trend line. Bro, I'm telling you, man, it was, man, these guys that like, so the way I be trading, man, when I was trading, I think what was messing me up a little bit was I just knew too much. I knew too much, and I was trying to use all my superpowers in one time, bro. And I remember like a year and a half ago when I was trading like this was where I was seeing the most consistent $1,000 days. So I think, man, especially like within me being quarantined for 2 weeks, bro, I had to tap back in to really the simplicity of trading, bro. And I mean, I've been back testing, man, bro. I've been spending like 5 hours a day just back testing, just looking at the stuff. And this stuff, it was just so clear. Like, this is the way these guys be making those 50K days. It's a guy right now, man. I was looking on his IG. He made like $123,000 trading NAS. Guess what? I was looking at NAS and I was, kid you not, I was looking at NAS. I actually mapped it out. I think I deleted it. I was looking at NAS. I mapped it out, but I didn't take the trade. Obviously, he has more capital to really, put up. Right. I was looking at NAS, and I had the whole thing here. Watch this. This is what he did. We're gonna break NAS down. This is how he did it. And I was looking at it. I was like, yo, let me see that. Man, he the same markup I had. He had the same markup.
Oh my God.
Had the same exact markup I had. And I was like, yo, this is nuts, man. He made 138K.
The heck? Come on, Mike.
So watch this. Look, so Nas, look, and we can start this on the so obviously it wasn't Nas, I'm lying, y'all. It was US 30. Sorry, US 30, not Nas. Sorry, US 30. US 30 wasn't Nas. US 30. Boom. Look at this. I mapped it out. I'm telling you,
Wow.
when I say I mapped this thing out so clean, and I went back to my chart because he screenshotted his chart, and I was like, hold up. And I went to my chart, it was the same exact thing. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So, anyways, this is what he did. This was his workflow. All right, so this is a daily time. Well, let me break this down, and I'm gonna use the same principles. Right, weekly time frame, guys. We're at this high in the weekly time frame. Right, at this high in the weekly time frame. You can see these weekly candles they have a little bit of buyer's exhaustion, but it's still trying to get higher, right? So my thought process is, all right, let me go to the daily time frame and see if we're still creating high lows and higher highs. Okay, and Philly, this is the example I just showed you. So I took my trend line, right? I drew my trend line, point A, point B, it touched. Right here, it looked like it broke the trend line. Typically it did, but it didn't because we still maintained the same support, same high low. Okay, so if you understand that, bro, right here was buying opportunity.
Okay, bro. Oh, wow.
Just understanding that is buying opportunity. Now, if a bearish candle would have opened and closed below here, now this trend line, we're now transitioning to a downtrend. Gotcha. But since we still maintain that support, we still maintain that high low, we knew where we were at in the market, and this would have been a great place to buy the market. So these small things are very critical, because most people see a break of trend like, oh, it broke, I need to look for sales. Nope, we still maintain the same equal high lows. Okay, wow. Just that's just a tip right there. But let's get to right here. So I went to the 4 hour time frame. I'm like, all right, man, this thing is just so bullish. But I want to look for a reason to even buy this market. So what I started doing, I was like, okay, well, this thing is. I drew a trend line within a trend line, right? I drew another trend line within the trend line, because guess what? If price breaks this trend line, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sell it to that daily trend line. Because that daily trend line is still respecting our uptrend. Okay, so my thought process is like, okay, well, we're still the second trend line that I drew. We're still creating high lows and higher highs. I'm like, all right, bet. Now this is when everything shifts. It just shifts for me. I was like, okay, bet. This is where you got to start adapting to the market. I noticed we were creating equal highs. I noticed we were creating equal highs. It almost felt like now we were reaching some type of apex, right? So I was like, okay, what's going on, right? We're respecting this trend line, but so we call this an ascending triangle, right? When you create equal highs and you're creating high lows all across the board. Okay, so when price got back. We're going to delete all this stuff, man. I'm going to show you what I was thinking and what he did. And I was like, yo, man, okay, I see what I got to do. I just got to, I got to get more money and trade. That's what I got to do, because this shit is easy.
Right.
This is where I knew this stuff made sense. So I'm like, all right, man, prices creating high lows, but for some reason we're failing to break this high. Like, we're just stuck there. Like, it's not breaking. So I was like, all right, we're still creating high lows. We're still creating high lows. So I was like, let me break this area down, right? Let me break this area down to see if I can possibly look for a reason to sell it from this zone, right? Let me look for a reason to sell it from this zone back to this trend line, because I mean, that's what we've been doing for the past how many days? I'm like, okay, so let me look for an area right here to sell this market. Guys, I kid you not. I went to the 30-minute time frame. I said, okay, I need to find a reason, a clean reason in this zone to sell this market. So I need to draw a trend line, a minor trend line around this area to sell it to this trend line. That was just my thought process. So I was like, well, even if I had to go to a smaller time frame to make this stuff make sense, I got to do what I got to do. Guys, this is when it clicked for me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm in a 15-minute time frame. It looks a little choppy. I know where I'm at. Excuse me. I know where I'm at. So I was like, okay, well, let me see where I could draw a possible trend line. Drew a trend line like this.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, this was the move he took. The same thing I just did. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So you could always draw trend lines within a trend line, but me knowing that we've been rejecting this zone for so long, I'm like, man, I need a reason for this. If when price breaks this trend line and retests this trend line, I'm selling it. Okay, so this is the 15-minute time frame, by the way. One of these candles broke, and this is where patience comes in. It broke. All I was doing, guys, was I just need price to come back to this zone trend line area, and I am selling. Man, I woke up like I had this all mapped out. I woke up. Price did everything I said it was gonna do. It came back down to this trend line.
Wow.
How many pips? 220?
220 pips. Guys, this man, I looked at his shit. He had four, and do the math, somebody. He had three orders.
Wow.
He had 3 orders at a 2 lot, 2.0. So 2.0 trading US 30, that's $200
Yeah, that's high.
per pip.
Ooh.
Good God.
So do $600. Do $600 per pip times, because this was what he did. So he knew, we know our structure is, what was it, a 1 hour, 4 hour, or 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew that he was gonna sell it to this area, to this zone around here, this trend line, this area, right? This was his TP. So what's 600 times 200? That's like 120,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And his entry, when he entered the market, guys, this was what he was doing. So he knew where he was at in the market. So obviously, when you're trading US 30, you're not entering the market in the 15. So once he got that break of that trend line, my man's went to the, and I know he went to the 5-minute. I know it. He went to the 5-minute. So once price rejected this area, his first entry was probably somewhere here, bearish engulfing, a bearish variation. And guys, you can keep drawing this trend line. Look, you want to look for those reasons. Look, watch this. Right, one entry, another entry right here, bearish engulfing.
Wow.
So he was putting orders off these breaks. He even, man, I mean, you can, like, knowing where you're at in a bigger time frame, and you're trading US 30, so you're going to the bigger time frames, and guess what I'm doing? Same thing all over again. Third order. That dude rolled this thing all the way down, 120K closeout. But here's the thing. While all this was happening, and if I was him, maybe he did it, maybe, I don't know. If you knew price created another, what? If you knew right here, if you knew you were at a high low right here, right? You knew price failed to break, rejected it, right? We can see this obviously in the 4 hour. We still maintain support. If you knew that, you can just say, well, shit, let me go ahead and buy this thing back up. And this is where you got to get dynamic with it. Look, watch this. If you know where you're at in the bigger time frame, you will always win. You can even break this to the 1 minute. Got to get dynamic. See price creating all these all these high lows. Look, I even, you know, I already mapped it up. Look at this, high low right here. Right, we had obviously equal highs right here. It didn't matter. Right, we just wanted to see our kind of trend line. When she saw this buying pressure right here, yeah. Come on, this man probably made another 100, 200,000. Right, on the 1 minute. Wait on some type of support. Bullish engulfing, whatever. Get your candlestick analysis, man. I'm telling y'all, if I had the type of capital this man had, I probably had a 400K fucking day. 300, 400K day. Like, being dynamic, man. This is nuts. I'm telling you. Look at this. I would have bought it right back to that high. I would have probably held this trade till next week. So this is how these guys flow with the market, man. We call this flowing with the market. And now if price rejects this area right now, we know this is the high low. So if price breaks this high low, you know you can sell down here. Y'all, I'm telling you. This stuff. I've been mapping this stuff out. Mapping this stuff out. This was the buy move. I call it a sell instead of a buy. That's what this was doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw how
back up at 6.
Yeah, look at this. Cause you saw, look, this was a kind of trend line. Mm-hmm. What I was doing was, because we got up here, I was trying to sell it down. My goal was to really sell it. I was waiting for it to break this point. But once I realized we still maintain that high low, we could have just bought
those two, and then
we could have just bought. But then again, you know, when you see stuff like this in the 4 hour, you want to stay away from markets like this. It's consolidation.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier because I kept looking. I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, it's all consolidation. You know, it doesn't look good. But once we get a break, man, you know this thing going. It's going up here, 50 pips. Going up. For my beginners, man, listen. If you really want to get good, I would say trade AUD USD. This is a slow pair. It's not as volatile.
That's Bay right there.
This thing, I'm telling you, this right here, because even this right here, look at this. I was mapping this out. This was I didn't even take this trade, but this was a nice little sell. A nice little sell right here.
I'll watch that joint.
Now turn the TV off. We're gonna get ready to go, buddy.
Yeah, nice little sell. 30.
Turn the TV off. We're gonna get ready to go.
Moves nice. Yeah, y'all. But y'all ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. I'm gonna upload this. This is just one. I just wanted like a short training. I'm gonna upload it on my YouTube, posting the GTI Trade Talk.
So I always appreciate it, Mike. You know
No problem.
Billy, you bouncing tonight?
Nah, not tonight. No, tomorrow night I'm gonna be at Crew, that hookah spot.
Oh, one of my friends work at Crew. He the manager there, I think. What's his name? Boost.
A bit at Crew?
Yeah, at Crew.
Okay, word. Yeah, last week was my first night up there, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm back in the building. I'll be in there every Saturday.